Matt is here. I saw him.
So I think I saw Matt.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. I am
There he
here.
is. Not a problem, sir. We see you. Thank you. Alder Dorf.
Here.
Debbie Dean.
Here.
Kathy Hinkfuss.
Here.
And Melanie Parma.
Melanie's excused.
Melanie's excused, I believe. Yep.
Okay. A motion to approve the agenda, please.
Move to approve.
Alder Dorf?
Second.
Second by Kathy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of minutes from February 9th. Everybody had a chance to take a look at that?
Yep.
Yep.
So moved, Gary.
Matt, approve motion, and I think Kathy second again? Kathy?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the minutes from February 9th, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Great. All right, so the very first thing, we got a public hearing. And we got a number of items we're going to go through here with the public hearing. Number one, consideration of possible action to adopt an allocation amendment resolution and amend the project plan for TID 7, Ashland and Lombardi Avenue corridors. Is there any public comment? Is there anyone out there that can make a public comment? Is there anyone out there that'd like to make a public comment? Okay, very good. Then we'll go to number two. Number two, consideration of possible action to adopt affordable housing extension resolution for TID 7, Ashland Avenue and Lombardi Avenue corridors. Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? If not, we shall go to item 3. Consideration of possible action to adopt a termination resolution for the dissolution of a project plan for the closure of TID 7, Ashland Avenue, and Lombardi Avenue corridors. Anybody out there like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that would like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that would like to make a public comment? Okay, number 4. Consideration of possible action to adopt an affordable housing extension resolution for TID 8, which is Henry and Morrow Streets. Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Okay, with that being said, we'll go to number 5. Consideration of possible action to adopt a termination resolution for the dissolution. I'm not sure why I'm having trouble with that word. Of a project plan for the closure of TID 8, which is Henry and Morrow Streets. Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? All right, we shall go to number 6. Consideration of possible action to adopt a termination resolution for the dissolution of a project plan for the closure of TID 9, State Street 54/57 Business Park. Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? All right, we shall go to number 7. Consideration of possible action to adopt an allocation amendment resolution and amend the project plan for TID 23, Lombardi Avenue corridor. Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there that'd like to make a public comment? Is there anybody out there like to make a public comment? All right, having gone through all of that, we shall close the public hearing and get on to regular business. First thing on the agenda is election of officers. We'll open nominations, start with for the chair.
I would like to nominate Gary if he's still interested.
I'd like to second that.
Who said that? Who second?
Debbie did.
Debbie Dean. And we can third, fourth.
Any other nominations? If not, nominations are closed for the chair. All those in favor of Gary continuing on as chair, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. It's a great group to work with, so I really have absolutely no problem continuing on. The vice chair, nominations are open for vice chair.
I nominate Matt.
Yeah.
Alder Dorf nominating Matt. And I see Kathy. Kathy,
Yep, I'll second that.
Is there any other nominations? If not, nominations are closed. All those in favor of Matt being our vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I didn't think there would be any. Great. Matt, you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully Matt and I aren't going to have to sign checks in the parking lot for too much longer. But that's neither here
Very
nor there.
true.
It's been fun. Secretary, we didn't used to do this, but now I think it's the right thing to do. We're supposed to actually make a nomination. So we're definitely opening nominations for secretary. Cassie, I think I see your arm up.
What exactly is the responsibility of secretary?
Well, usually the executive director is the secretary of the corporation. So it's usually a foregone conclusion, but we're going through the nomination process. So
No, I think that's what I think is that it should be a staff member.
Okay.
Right.
So Neil, I nominate Neil.
Yep.
Kathy's nominating Neil.
Yeah,
I second.
Alderdorf.
And I second it.
Is there any other nominations? If not, nominations are closed. All those in favor of Neil being our secretary, signify by saying aye.
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 Congratulations, Neil. We got lots of work for you, by the way. I'm just teasing you. All right.
Counting on it, sir. Counting on it.
All right. Elected members to serve on our various subcommittees. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at those. We definitely got to make a couple of changes. And we don't need to necessarily do them today in case somebody has opinions that they want to share with me. But obviously, Jim Blumreich was on the Funding Administration Subcommittee. He also was on the Revolving Loan Fund. I don't think, Cheryl, that either the Funding Administration or Real Estate Subcommittees met last year, but that doesn't mean that they don't. Actually, those are good subcommittees that we can flush things out before we go to our regular RDA meeting. So I think we want to continue to have those as standing committees. The Revolving Loan Committee is typically a little more active, Matt. I would imagine you guys met, I don't know, 3-4 times, or do you remember how many times?
Yeah, we probably did meet 3 or 4 times last year, Gary, and especially, right about this time last year and in those kind of next 3 months as we headed into trying to develop and modify, things around the loan programs relative, folks who had loans and loan modifications and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that group did continue to meet.
So that's probably our most critical subcommittee. And like I said, Jim will no longer be on that committee. So if somebody wants to swing from one of the other committee thoughts, I know our new committee person that we were after had some financial backgrounds, but I'm not sure. We'll have to wait till the mayor gets on to see where we're at with that. But anyway, the bottom line, we don't have to resolve this today, but if somebody has any thoughts that they want to switch committees or do something different, please get back to me and we'll work through it.
This is Debbie. I would switch down to the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund.
Okay.
Team.
And you were on the Funding Administration. And actually, we've got 2 other members on there already.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably covered.
Right.
And Debbie, you with your background, you'd be very good at it. Unless anybody has any objections, we're going to make that move.
And then Debbie, you would want to be removed from the funding admin. You wouldn't want to have both of them.
That is correct.
Off the funding admin onto revolving loan. Okay.
Yeah,
that is correct.
We'll have 2 on there and 3 on the real estate. Yeah, I think it'll work out fine. So we'll make that move unless someone has some thoughts otherwise. I'm not sure we need to make let's see. Yeah, I guess we do need to make a motion for that move. Looks like it is an agenda item. So Matt, you making the motion?
Yeah, Gary, I would make the motion to have the committee members as discussed, with the change being Debbie Dean shifting from Funding Administration Subcommittee to the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund Committee, and all other members staying the same.
Second to that.
I'll second it.
Second by Kathy. All those in favor, sing by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Good. Number 3, consideration with possible action on requests from Bank of Luxembourg for the city to continue to renew its continuing guarantee of the HCW LLC loan for the property located at 301 North Adams, units 210 to 260, the second floor of the city City Center. This was the old Bay Lake Bank? Bank, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'll have a little bit of background, and then we'll decide whether or not we need to go in closed session. Who's got that? Neil got that, or Cheryl, or?
I can provide that. This is essentially this is a guarantee that was originally done back in 2015 on the project. That was some redevelopment efforts going on in that particular structure. The bank has refinanced essentially the loans at that time, including their 2 individual loans, but one of them included the city's loan. At that time, the bank had requested a specific guarantee to remain from the city in exchange for financing the city's part of the city's loan. That was approved back at that time. We entered in a follow-up agreement, kind of a consent of the guarantor in May of 2019. Essentially, according to the letter that's included in your packet, the guarantee is necessary for 2 reasons. Long-term master plan for the city is the HCW states that is preventing the developer from actively leasing the space long-term, because it shows it as basically removing the structure in that plan. The other item is that because of the limitation on time remaining in the tenant's lease, they were having issues in terms of trying to convince the underwriting standards that wouldn't allow the bank to refinance it without the continuing guarantee from the city. So this is essentially a request to extend. I believe the loan matured actually, I believe, into December of 20. The bank has granted Mr. Belster, I believe a 3-month window to try to get this achieved in terms of kind of extending this guarantee. Mr. Belster does have some plans that he is working on with the bank, which the bank is willing to consider if the city is willing to essentially to extend the guarantee. So I do believe there are some items that we would like to discuss with legal counsel and the RDA at some point. So closed session we probably would recommend closed session for that.
I'd like to move that we go into closed session.
I'll second.
Alder, second by Kathy. Would
you like me to read the language?
If you could, ma'am, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. The authority may convene in closed session pursuant to sections 19.85 1E Wisconsin statutes for purposes of deliberating or negotiating the sale of public properties, investment of public funds, or conducting other specified public business as necessary for competitive or bargaining reasons. 1G Wisconsin statutes for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The authority will thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.852 Wisconsin statutes to take action on items discussed in closed session if appropriate and to consider the remainder of the agenda.
Roll call, please. Neil?
Yep. One moment, sir.
Okay.
Gary Delvo?
Yes.
Matt Schuler?
Here.
Alder Dorf?
Yes.
Debbie Dean?
Here.
Kathy Hinkfus?
Here.
Excellent. So we are in closed session.
Till Steph gives us the green light to come back in.
Okay.
Thank you for catching
you have
that.
to remake the motion, Vanessa?
But I thought the motion to go back to open session is done in closed session.
No, you have to do it. So you're technically still in closed session. You just need to be back on the record.
Okay.
When we vote on it, we have to be back on the record?
Right. I understand.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just it's our technology.
Well, even if you were to,
yeah.
It's like if you come back, if you kick everybody out of the room, when you make the motion to go back in open session, when everybody's there to see you.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right. So the motion is second, and so now we need to be back in open session.
Just waiting for Steph to give us the green light that we're back here. Are we okay?
All right.
Yep, and she says we're good. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and do that motion now.
Move to return. Move to return to open session.
Alder and
Second.
Okay, so we're about motion and a second to move back to open session. Roll call, please.
Gary Delvo.
Yes.
Matt Schuler.
Yes.
Alder Dorf.
Yes.
Debbie Dean.
Yep.
Kathy Hinkfus.
You bet.
All right, in closed session, we had some good discussion and gave staff some direction, but I will entertain a motion in that regard.
I I'd make
move
a
that-
motion.
Matt, go ahead,
Go
Matt.
ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that staff proceed with negotiations as discussed in the closed session.
Very good. Second by someone?
Second.
Second by Alder Dorf. All those in favor of the motion in a second, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Very good. Excellent job, staff, on a complicated issue. Number 4, consideration of possible action to approve a planning option with Maker Solutions for a 4-unit townhouse project at 115 South Van Buren Street. Who's got that one? Neil too? Or
I can take this one.
Rhonda, yep, that's all yours, Rhonda. Thank you.
Yep. We received a motion for, received a request for a planning option for Maker Solution for 4 townhomes, and 2 of them being owner occupied, 2 of them being market rate rentals. This property was condemned, or actually was demoed 5 years ago in 2015. As Cheryl is just showing right now, the map that we have for the plat map, this was a 50-unit building that just basically deteriorated and needed to be demoed. So they're looking at putting 4 units there, like I said, with 2 being owner occupied and market rate rental. So we're looking at getting approval for a 3-month option for them with the potential to extend an extra 3 months if needed.
And if you need to remember what building it was this 5-story jobber on Van Buren, right?
Yes.
That was that horrible one. It took us forever to get down.
I knew it well.
And wasn't everything like stripped out of the interior?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Like all the copper piping was taken. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember the building.
PTSD on that one. So.
No, I think it's great for that that part of the neighborhood, right? To have that 5-story building that just, right, it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions or comments, or is there entertain a motion?
I think we lost Matt for a second here. Matt looks like he's frozen.
Okay, I move that we approve. Matt is frozen.
Second by Kat, motion by Alder Dorf, second by Kathy, and to approve the 3-month planning option with a 3-month potential expansion. Questions or comments?
And I just want to mention, you may know the developer. So I think he might have worked on this site a little bit before in his old job, but.
Sure. Yes, I think you're right. All those in favor of the motion in a second, signify by saying aye.
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 I see Ken. All those opposed? If not, motion carried. Good luck, Ken. All right.
Can I make a comment?
Ken, you want to make a comment? Please.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys. We're real excited about this. So yeah, the 3 months, we have some financing to get put together, lining up our builder, and working with the city on this difficult site. So just thank you for the opportunity here.
Come back with a good plan, Ken. I'm sure you will.
Awesome. Yeah.
You got it.
All right. Number 5, consideration of possible action to adopt an allocation amendment resolution and amend the project plan for TID 7, Ashton Avenue and Lombardi Avenues, corridors to TID 23. All right.
Yep, that will be staff here. We've got, let me fire up a quick PowerPoint that'll summarize most of these actions here all in one shot. Let me make sure I'm doing this, getting it to the right screen here. Let's see, I need to share my screen. Move that over here. And let's see, I'll get to here. And we'll share, we'll see what happens here. So hopefully that is up.
You got it.
Excellent, good sign. Okay, that's what we're hoping for. So, Chair, what I'd like to do is just kind of give a brief overview of all 7 of these actions here, if I could. These next ones, and then we'll certainly review the resolutions one at a time if that meets with your approval.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So here we've got multiple actions we are doing here today. We have a total of 7 resolutions. These are the 7 actions we are looking at specifically. TID 7 is an allocation amendment to TID 23. There's an affordable housing extension and then termination for TID 7. Yes. For TID 8, we are looking at an affordable housing extension and a termination resolution. For TID 9 is simply a termination. And then TID 23 is an allocation amendment. It's basically accepting the funds from TID 7. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of a summary of the specific actions. With that, I will go into each one in particular. First resolution will be an allocation amendment to amend the project plan for TID 7 to basically be, generate the funds for what we need to allocate to TID 23. Here's a reminder of the district here for TID 7. Mm-hmm. A picture of that. The actual allocation amount that we are doing here is about $800,000. It's actually arranged from it's projected to be from $750,000 to $850,000. So for purposes of the cash flow analysis, we've plugged $800,000 in here. Essentially, what's causing us to require this particular allocation is there was a project related to pedestrian and streetscape improvements proposed with a hospitality hotel project in this district. The pandemic obviously has delayed that project moving forward. So staff had 2 options. We figured we could either hold over TID 7 an additional year and program these improvements as part of that, or we could actually do the allocation amendment of funds that have already been collected over to TID 23 that would still allow us to fund these exact improvements and also allow us to close TID 7. So we figured from a joint review board standpoint that it was more advantageous to basically have that district closed and have everything back on the tax roll. The joint review board met for its organizational meeting just yesterday. They had no concerns with this and understood exactly the funds are essentially going to have been allocated. It's just moving them from one district to the other, essentially for the same project. That's allowing us to close 7 this year, but essentially as planned. Does anybody have any questions on the allocation amendment proposed?
Deanna, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Deanna, probably 6 months ago, we spent a lot of time on all of these changes. So in general, I don't see a real lot of changes. We're having to go through this again because of a state requirement. Is that correct?
Nope. This is on TID 7, which is again down by the Lambeau district. We planned to put sidewalks in 2020. Okay. And we want to shut down 7 projects. Did not get done in 2020. DPW went through the work. They started specking it out, getting it ready, delaying the hotel, and we've decided to make some changes to the sidewalk plan, so they have to kind of redesign it. Okay. That's not going to happen in 2020. It has to happen in 21. The problem is there's about $800,000 left in TID 7. If we shut down TID 7, which is our plan,
yes,
we want that 793 to go into, the affordable housing. Yes, we want that to go into the affordable housing. That money is already here as of January 1st. That money can now be used for housing programs. And then 1 year from now, then the remaining, then that 793 then starts getting allocated over to all taxing jurisdictions as of 1/1/22. So that was our plan all along. Problem is we didn't spend our $800,000 on our sidewalks. If we do nothing, we do no allocation, basically moving this money from here to another TID, that $800,000 becomes an ending balance in 2020. And that money then, because we shut it down, that positive fund balance, which is our money right now to be used, has to get allocated back to all the taxing jurisdictions on a proration of our tax bill. Okay. So the $800,000 then, a couple $100,000 goes to the school, a couple $100,000 to the Brown County. We get to keep our 30%, and then NWTC does. What happens is we just take $800,000 now. City gets to get in their general fund, gets $300,000. $500 now gets allocated to the taxing jurisdiction, and now we have no sidewalks done. This allows us to take that $800,000, kind of hold it in a TID, move it to a different TID, still move forward with our TIP 7 plan, and keep that $800,000, and now still be able to have that money in our new TID to pay for infrastructure such as sidewalks, or it's not all sidewalks, it's pedestrian infrastructure. Okay. And so it's really hanging on to money we thought we were going to spend in 20 that it just didn't work. A lot of reasons why it didn't end up getting done, but it didn't get done. And the plan was to get it done so that we could shut this down. And this just is holding onto the money to do it at a future time. So,
Gary, just to be clear, you did see the actions on these back in September. This one actually was an allocation to TIF 9 that was approved back then. The housing allocation, and the housing extension and the termination resolutions were the ones that the Department of Revenue said you're supposed to do those the actual year that you're actually doing those actions. So Department of Revenue asked us to bring those back. So this particular one is a new one because it's a new allocation to 23. But the next two you'll see the housing extension and the termination resolution were actually ones that you saw last year that DOR told us to bring back this year because it needed to be in the same year.
Excellent explanations. Thank you to both of you. Yes. So agenda number 5. I'm looking for a motion to approve it as stated in the agenda.
I'll move that we would amendment resolution and amend the project plan for TID 7.
Second.
Yeah, motion by Oldorf, second by Matt. If not, all those in favor, saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Great explanation, both of you, Neil and Deanna. Number 6.
Thank you.
Consideration of possible action to adopt an affordable housing extension resolution for TID 7, Ashland Avenue and Lombardi Avenue corridors.
This is essentially pretty. I think as stated in the resolution, this is simply approving the extension to be basically to allocate the funds that were collected in 2020 and actually payable in 2021. So these funds are available. So it's just allocating those funds to the Affordable Housing Fund.
Okay, already did that.
Debbie.
Oh. So moved. Move to
I
approve.
want to get involved there, that's all. Sorry.
Second.
Motion by Debbie, second by Kathy, for the agenda item number 6. As stated, all those in favor, by saying aye. First, any questions?
Aye. No.
No questions or comments? Okay, I'm sorry. A motion made and approved. Opposed? Not hearing none. Motion is approved. Number 7, consideration of possible action to adopt a termination resolution for the dissolution of a project plan for the closure of TID 7, Ashland Avenue and Lombardi Avenue corridors.
Again, as stated previously, since we have done the allocation amendment to move over those projects and funds to the TID 23 project plan, and then we have approved the affordable housing extension, then we are in a situation where staff is recommending dissolution and closure of TID 7.
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we eliminate TID 7.
Second.
The motion. A second by Matt. Questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 8, consideration of possible action to adopt an affordable housing extension resolution for TID 8, Henry and Morrow Streets.
Okay, this is as a reminder here of this is TIF District number 8. The financial, this is here just kind of demonstrating the actual affordable housing amendment of the extra additional increment that is being received. Again, taxed in 2020 and collected in 2021. This is basically authorizing these funds to be transferred to the Affordable Housing Fund. And with that, staff would recommend approval of the housing extension resolution for TID 8.
I move that we approve the affordable housing extension resolution.
Alderdorf, a second by Debbie, I think. Yep, second by Debbie. Questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 9, adopt a termination resolution for the dissolution of a project plan for the closure of TID 8, Henry and Morrow Streets. Neil.
Similarly, Mr. Chair, this is we have allocated the remaining funds for the affordable housing extension. Staff is recommending closure of TID 8.
I'll make a motion to terminate TID 8.
A motion by Kathy to terminate TID 8, and a second by
Second.
I think Debbie. Close call. We'll go with Debbie. Motion and a second termination of TID 8. Questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Number 10, consideration of possible action to adopt a termination resolution for dissolution of a project plan for the closure of TID 9, State Highway 5457 Business Park.
Again, here's just a reminder of here's the area designated as TIF 9 is this 5457 park here. This one is a little bit of interesting situation. The finances related to this one, because we did the transfer of an allocation amendment previously to this one, is allowing us essentially to close this particular district and cover and pay for its finances. And Diana, correct me if I'm wrong if I'm missing anything on this one, but this essentially the allocation that was approved last September that this body approved essentially allowed us to cover our costs and prepare this district for closure.
Correct. Last year when we tried to take this through, we tried to do both the allocation and the termination at the same time, and they pretty much said you can't do the termination before you do the allocation. So we really had to approve the allocation last year and then the termination in the year in which that we are going to close this. So this closure will now put with the ending balance we have outstanding debt and other expenses. This will close it with roughly a zero balance. We allocated just enough in there to cover all the outstanding expenses. So this one should close really with a no positive or negative fund balance.
Real issue on this one here. There just hasn't been any activity. That doesn't mean that if there was also some kind of interest in that property, whatever, that we could open up another TID. Is that right, Neil?
That is certainly true, and we have pledged to continue working with the property owners in this area to continue to market those properties. So if a substantial project did come along, we would have the opportunity to pursue a district here if it made sense.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Can I just make a comment, Chair?
Yes, please, Hilda.
And thank you for saying that, Neil, and also you, Gary. As the alder for this area, I still am getting communications that people don't understand why it's being closed. And I've assured them that we will not stop looking for opportunities. It's just that right now there aren't any, and we cannot afford to continue to lose money on this. So thank you for saying publicly that we are still going to try, which is what I tell them.
Absolutely. To me, it still looks like a tremendous opportunity. We just got to get the right developers to
the right developer.
Yep.
It's still a very good location, and I think it's just a matter of time before we have a competitive proposal for the area. So fingers crossed.
Okay, entertain a motion to close TID 9.
I'll make that motion, Gary.
Matt, and a second by Kathy. A motion and a second to close TID 9. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Agenda number 11. Consideration of possible action to adopt an allocation amendment resolution and amend the project plan for TID 23 Legends District to be a recipient of an allocation from TID 7 Lombardi Avenue and Ashland Avenue corridors.
Yep, this is obviously the back end of the report we just gave you for TID 7 previously. So again, here is the allocation here allowing us this. Again, this is because TID 23 is a fairly new district. There is no closure nor affordable housing extension. We're not looking at that. We may eventually get to that, but that's going to be several years down the road. For right now, we're just approving the actual receipt of the funds from TID 7 to do the public infrastructure projects as previously mentioned.
All right. Entertain a motion.
I make a move to approve.
Debbie.
Second.
And second by Kathy. Any questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Wow.
Very good. Just a quick note, just for everybody, let everybody know all these resolutions will be going forward to the City Council on March 16th.
Very good. A lot of good cleanup and a lot of good business decisions. Thanks, Deanna. Thanks, Neil. Excellent job. Update on the housing study.
So we're at the final stages. It'll come to the RDA in April. We're just inserting, we're taking a look at the housing study to determine how much we want to allocate in that plan for some of the elements that came out of that study. For example, redevelopment of areas above businesses. You know, we've got that vacant space up there, so we're trying to figure out how we can set up a program with regards to that. So
Again.
RDA.
Okay. So is that a high priority for you, right, Cheryl?
Yes. It's my understanding we have some money.
Yes. Well,
So
Awesome.
anyway, good luck with it, Cheryl. Very important study, and like we've talked about several times, unless we do some things with the recommendations, it's for naught. And I know
Right.
you won't let that happen. Thank you. I reviewed the financial report and check register, and I have no questions or comments. Does anybody else have questions or comments in regard to our financial report or check register? If not, director's report and project updates, please.
A majority of the project work that has been before you today has been the largest, probably the largest target of time for staff here these past couple of weeks. Has been preparing these TIF amendments as well as the previous agreement and guarantee we've discussed. So we have several other things we are working on and hoping to be bringing forward here in the next couple of months, including. You know, again, a couple of projects that have been stalled for a little while, hoping to get those moving again. We hope to have not only just an update, but actually to have actionable items for this board, hopefully as early as the April meeting. So,
Excellent. So Neil, I'm hoping you're having fun. I really appreciate your update, positive attitude. Welcome.
Thank you, Gary. My pleasure. It's been a very fun 6 weeks. So I can't believe it's been 6 already.
Wow.
It's a lot of work being done. So it's one of the reasons why it was attractive and exciting to come here. So.
What's the latest on you physically moving to Green Bay? Or maybe you have done that. I have no idea.
I have. Actually, I'm getting ready to probably looking at hopefully April or May is the timing to actually get up there and have an apartment in place. Knowing what the market, what it is, and like I said, it's a bad time for me to look at that housing study for, unfortunately, because it realizes how tough it might be able to be. But we are looking at, I've had several good contacts with realtors at the chamber and a couple of other personal recommendations from a developer or two in town. So I'm confident that we'll be able to find a place within my parameters pretty quickly. So looking forward to not doing the drive, that's for sure. Once we get City Hall back open, it'd be nice to be back in the office. So.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that. Mr. Mayor, are you still aboard? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yes, Debbie, I'll get to you in a second. Mr. Mayor, you got any words of wisdom that you want to pass on to us, or what's the latest?
Just kind of reiterate what Neil had said. You know, this is sort of the calm before the storm. The staff has been experiencing the storm of activity on a number of different projects recently, and I think RDA will see that shortly. So yeah, a lot of pent up work that is set to move forward. And hopefully we'll be able to show off some great projects at the April and May meetings.
Debbie, I seen you had your hand up. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say goodbye.
Oh, you're leaving. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually supposed to be in another meeting also, so I was double booked. But
right.
Thank you very much. This has been great.
RDA, any other questions or comments in regard to staff or the mayor?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn by Alder Dorf. Second by Matt. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Before everybody leaves, though, I just want to make one quick comment. At the April 13th meeting, I'm actually going to be in Arizona visiting my sister. But at any rate, so we really got to work hard on that quorum thing, because, boy, I wouldn't want us to lose a meting.
Gary,
yes,
Gary, they do have broadband in Arizona.
Yeah, I was definitely do that.
But secondly, no, we absolutely are upping our recruitment game, and so we'll get you a good member here in the near future.
I'm sure you will. All right, I guess we're adjourned. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.